It's a Thursday night at Fitzpatrick Stadium in Portland as Thornton Academy football takes the field in hopes to clinch a playoff spot. The 4-1 Trojans are on a high after a big win against Earring, but must beat a young but talented Portland Bulldogs team. Can the Trojans win their 4th game in a row and clinch a spot in the playoffs? We'll find out next on Thornton Academy Sports Live.
Welcome to Thornton Academy Football, and this is Thornton Academy Sports Live. I'm Jeff Christenberry, alongside Jim Toomey, stepping in for Tyler yet again this week. We got another great game here for Trojans football. Thornton Academy against Portland on a Thursday night, special Thursday night here because of the Jewish holiday, playing this game a day early. And Jim, obviously Thornton Academy coming in at 4-1, going against 2-3 Portland, but these teams are pretty even. Portland's played one of the toughest schedules so far. And what do you think about the short week? How do you think it's going to affect both teams?
Well, I think Thornton came off that big win against Deering, emotional on a high, and they seem to be pretty healthy coming out of that game. So I think they'll be in great shape. As far as Portland goes, this is only their 2nd home game. So I'm sure they'll be fired up here, and on this Thursday night, I still think they have a good crowd. It's going to be a little cool, but certainly great conditions. And again, artificial turf is going to be a fast track.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Crabtree standings have Portland playing the most difficult schedule so far, sitting at 2-3. They have a lot of young players. Why don't you talk about the little quarterback dynamic? They have obviously a lot of youth there in their skill positions.
Yeah, we're going to see 2 quarterbacks in the game. The Wildcat quarterback, so to speak, will be Javon Pitts-Young, a sophomore. He's actually the leading ball carrier for the Portland Bulldogs. When they want to go to the air, they bring in a freshman quarterback named Ryan Rulin. So I'm sure the scouts have looked at that, and we'll follow it, in our telecast. Their only win is a very close 12-8 win over Gorham. But again, the tandem of the quarterbacks will carry a load. They do have Nick Volger, a running back, pretty good success from that gentleman as well. But they're going to try to get to the outside and use their speed, led by Javon Pitts-Young, to get to the outside and hopefully burn Thornton. So again, Thornton will have to stop that, and I do think Thornton can score against this Portland defense.
Yeah, and obviously, again, Thornton Academy not taking Portland lightly. I talked to Coach Kiesel today. He talked about how great they are in film. So let's take a look at what Kiesel has to say about this big game for Thornton Academy.
We just, you try to get as much done that day as you can, and you want to get kids, make sure that they're healthy, number one. You want to make sure that they have their legs, so you got to kind of really back off. And certainly a different week of getting ready. But both teams are in the same boat, so it's certainly not going to make any excuses about that. We're going to go out, and our kids will play hard tonight. And all you got to do is pop some tape in and watch them. I mean, they are very physical up front. They're big up front. They've got several senior linemen that have played for them for a while, so they get off the ball very well. They've kind of made a change at quarterback position last week, so that's kind of changed their offense. They're probably going to be a little more explosive now. The quarterback certainly is a running threat. So we got to certainly count for him. He had a nice game last week against Wyndham, and in the first half of that Wyndham game last week, they ran 37 offensive plays. Wyndham ran 9 plays, so it was they kind of dominated the first half. They just couldn't get the ball in the end zone. So we showed that to our kids. Hopefully our kids take it to heart and go and play hard tonight. It's like I said, they're pretty good up front, so we've got to hold up. We can't get blown off the line of scrimmage. I think our kids are pretty physical. I think we run the ball pretty well, and we just got to get our proper fits and make sure that we fit the run game properly, so that they don't have any seams of pop. He's good. The back's good. They've got a freshman running back that's good. The tailback, well, he's a good player. So they've got some skill kids that certainly can make it hurt if you break down. One good thing about playing this Thursday night game is we do have 9 days off to our next game, so it's a nice long weekend for our kids to rest up and hopefully nick some bruises and go away for a little bit, get ready for the second half of the season, and catch up academically. So we certainly got to take advantage of that, though. We got to play well tonight and then get that break. You just want to take one game at a time. Certainly, we know that if we can win tonight, we're in the playoffs. That'll give us our 5th win. That guarantees us, and then you start looking at hopefully getting home field advantage. And certainly. The longer you can stay home, the better. It's nice. You're accustomed to that. You get your own comfortable schedule, and we like playing here at Hill Stadium. So, we'll take one game at a time. Tonight, let's win and get in the playoffs.
So obviously TA not looking past this Portland team, and they know if they win tonight, they're guaranteed a playoff spot. They'll get that 5th win. Can't believe there's only 3 games left in this season. Obviously looking at last week, Andrew Libby had an incredible game. He was all over the field. And as Coach Kiesel mentioned, burnout, is something you think about. The kid plays offense, defense, special teams. How far do you think he can go before, maybe get one too many hits and you can lose him for a couple weeks in the playoffs?
Well, he's a very mature player, both physically and mentally. And I think he takes the hits very well. He's a very smart player. He was picked as Player of the Week last week, both by the Portland Press-Herald and by Channel 6. So I'm sure they'll be watching the load for Andrew as they wind down with the 2 remaining games at home and maybe give him a little bit of rest. But I think you're going to see him in all facets of the game pretty much once again.
Yeah, I think obviously a big player tonight, Eric Christensen, the quarterback. Last week, really struggled throwing the football. But did run the football pretty well, made some great decisions against Deering, made a couple throws when he had to. I think today, obviously, it's been a few weeks since his ankle injury, seems to be 100% on that front, and I think it's really important for him to come out tonight and really establish his passing game, to keep that threat. I think that's what we're talking about, getting some passes out to Libby, and also Nick Kenny, another big player here for Thornton Academy. Every week seems to have somebody different stepping up. What do you think Kenny's going to do tonight?
I think he's going to run very well on this turf, and give credit to the offensive line. I thought especially the first half against Deering, Kenny was like into the linebackers, before you knew that. That offensive line of Thornton really was very quick off the ball, and Kenny took advantage of that. So I expect the same thing here tonight.
Yeah, obviously the line play for Thornton Academy has been pretty consistent over the course of the year. I think defensive lines are going to be huge tonight, especially because Portland throws the ball a lot less than Deering and some of the other teams. They can stop that. They do a lot of jet sweeps, I heard. What Portland does, so if they're able to kind of keep that at bay, it's going to be very tough for this Portland team to move the ball down the field. So the big play, again, they may not see the big play through the air like we saw last week with Orlando Lowry, but they could be on the run. So how do you think Thornton Academy can withstand maybe 1 or 2 long runs and still win the game?
Well, I have more confidence this week because in our pregame last week, we sort of said what we were worried about. It came true to the negative in the fact that we're down 2 scores, but what you saw happen is that Thornton kept their cool, ran the regular offense, didn't panic, and we know they had that big second quarter. So you don't want it to happen, but I think in their mind they say, well, if we do get behind, track record, we can come back, and we'll just do our regular stuff to get back.
All right, Thornton Academy again, sitting at 4-1. We were talking off camera. What do you think is the missing link right now to make, excuse me, to take TA from a really good playoff team to a championship caliber playoff team?
I think it's to have consistency. The coaches will say that throughout the whole game. They talk about the 48 minutes. Both offense and defense, the special teams has been strong throughout the whole season. But I just think they need that consistency throughout the whole game because against the top team, whether it's a Chevrolet or Deering again down the road, or possibly a resurgence from Barney Eagle, if you have that weak quarter, that may cost you the game. So I think consistency will take them to the next level.
Obviously, every team wants to start off strong. Who do you think has to start strong tonight? Who cannot afford to have a poor first quarter?
I think Portland, really. Again, the second home game, they know that Thornton's coming in here probably fired up, from that Deering game, a very good record. So I think Portland wants to get off and, get confidence. Again, you start doing well, success breeds success and all that stuff. You feel better about yourself. So I think it's really important for Portland to come out because they do not have a big win, even though they play tough in some games, and this may be the one they want to get.
Yeah, I think turnover is going to be very key again, more so for Portland because, as we saw last week, Thornton Academy can take advantage of turnovers and really turn the game around. So let's get your prediction for tonight.
I think maybe Portland will score on a long play, but I think Thornton, again, will score and win by at least a couple of touchdowns. And again, my hope is that a lot of players will get involved in the Thornton offense. And you didn't ask me for a score. I'm going to say 35-12, Thornton Academy.
All right, well, Tyler Catterett said 28-14 Thornton. I'm going to go pretty similar. I think it's going to be 27-14. I think Thornton Academy is going to come out from the first quarter and really take control of this game. And I don't think it's going to be close. But you never know in high school football here on a Thursday night. Feeling like football weather, a little colder tonight, so we'll see. Well, that's going to do it here for Thornton Academy Sports Live pregame. In just a few minutes, we'll send it up to you in the booth, and we'll see you at halftime. You're watching Thornton Academy Sports Live.
Okay, thank you, Jeff Christenberry. Jim Toomey up here in the booth along with our cameraman, Jeff Scott on the main camera and Greg Murray on the coach's camera. Captain's meeting at midfield. We'll keep an eye on that. As we said in the pregame, Portland at 2-3. Lost to Massabesic 39-0. Beat Noble 38-13. defeated Gorham on this field 12-8. Lost to Deering 28-7 and lost to Wyndham 16-7. This is their own. This is their second home game here at Fitzpatrick Stadium as we tape this game on Thursday night, October 6th. Referee just tossed the coin. I think Thornton's getting the choice here. We'll see. It's going to be Thornton kicking right to left. I'm not sure if they deferred or not, but it'll be Thornton kicking off right to left. Again, Portland 2-3, averaging 12.8 points a game, giving up 20.8. For Thornton Academy, 4-1 in the season, defeating Bonn Eagle 20-6, lost at South Portland 20-16, defeated Wyndham 7-0, Noble 42-14, and a big one last week at Deering, winning 28-21. The Trojans scoring 22.6 while giving up 12.2. Tonight's the last game of their three-game road trip, so to speak, as they'll finish at home with Scarborough on October 15th and the Battle of the Bridge against Biddeford on October 22nd. Portland will feature a couple of young quarterbacks, and they'll be alternating. Ryan Rulin is a freshman. He'll be wearing number 11. He's more the passer. And number 4 will be a sophomore, Javon Pitts-Young, who will run out of the Wildcat, throwing an occasional pass. Javon Pitts-Young from that quarterback position is the leading ball carrier in attempts. You also see Nick Volger in the backfield, along with Mike Herrick. Right now, Brandon Briggs kicking right to left on your screen. Hope you enjoy this game on Thornton Academy television. Now we're on YouTube, so I guess we're worldwide here. Briggs, nice power on that kick, down to about the 8-yard line. Brought out to about the 25-yard line. We're quite a ways back from the field in the press box, so we may have to go to the binoculars. I said this a dozen times on the air this year, that on the screen you can see it a lot better than we can from the booth. First and 10 Bulldogs from the 24-yard line. Peter Gribben on the PA here, sort of an historian for Portland. He said before the game, first game played between these schools, 1893. How close is this? Thornton has won 45, Portland 43, and 4 ties. It's Pitts-Young going to carry it. I remember Pitts-Young coming off the bench for the Bulldog basketball team towards the end of last season. Into the tournament, he sparked them. So look for him on the hardwood, as they say, later on. Give him about 4 yards in a play. 2nd and 6 Bulldogs from their own 28-yard line. A couple of wide receivers this side. Closest to us, we have Seamus Kilbride. Pitts-Young going to hand off, trying to get to the outside. And Volger is going to have a first down. Nick Volger, number 23, 5'9", 150-pound junior. He has 205 yards on the season, 53 carries. My statistics this week come from sportsinmaine.com, sportsinme.com. You might want to check that out. If the teams submit them, they will post them. So first down of the game, and the Portland Bulldogs have it. About the 37-yard line. A pass to the outside, knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Got deflected. And was that caught by a lineman after a Thornton deflection? That would be legal. I guess they say no. It hit the ground, so it's 2nd and 10. One of the Bulldog linemen was on the ball, just in case. Pitts-Young is coming in here, only was 3 out of 15 passing. 2nd down, Portland. In motion, Zakowski. Handoff, I believe, is to Herrick. He's pushed back by that Thornton line. Mark Bosino, 79 in there. Luke Libby, 67. Looks like the same defensive front that we've seen 64, Quinlan O'Brien, the Q-man, getting a start. Linebackers Bobby Began, 53, Con McCrum, 42, Dakota Tarbox, 85, Chris Madden, 50. Third down, Pitch Young going to keep it. Very quick feed of Pitch Young, and he has the first down. Pitch Young, again, the leading ball carrier, 66 attempts coming in, 308 yards. Very good ball handling that time.
Pitch Young, pick up of 11, bringing the ball down just inside the 49-yard line.
Into Thornton territory at the 49-yard line. 10:04 left to go in the first period. Officials time out briefly, and we start the clock. Pitch Young remains in, sort of a wildcat formation. He's going to scramble out to his left, fakes the pass, and he's going to run it. He's inside the 35 and all the way to the 30-yard line. First down, Portland. You know, sometimes you make a few comments and you want them to come true. Last week in the pregame, I sort of warned about Ronaldo Lowry. He goes out and catches 3 touchdown passes, but Thornton again used turnovers to outscore Deering. Tonight I was mentioning the speed of Javon Pitch Young, and Portland's picked up 3 first downs with Pitch Young sort of leading the way. Sophomore quarterback. He's going to hand off this time. That's Volger. John Remus, part of that tackle. Looks like only a 1-yard gain. Ball resting right on the 30 of Thornton. Opening drive of the game. And Portland's moved it from about their own 24 to right now the 30 of TA. Pitch Young takes the snap. Hands off to Floridino. I see Luke Libby, 67 in there. Bottom of the pile, Quinlan O'Brien. Also getting up, Dakota Tarbox. Quinlan O'Brien seeing more action in recent games. Number 64, 5'9", 205-pound junior. Defensive backs, 41 Josh Sear, 16 Andrew Libby, 33 John Remus, and number 12 Kyle Forbes. Second down, inside handoff, getting some positive yards all the way down the 20-yard line. Zukowski, Quinlan O'Brien in pursuit. Going to be close to that first down marker, and the referees want to take a peek. Zukowski carried that time. He's a sophomore, 5'11", 155. I would say just a fair crowd tonight, again being a Thursday night. Over at Deering a week ago, Thornton traveled very well on a Friday night. And the Deering fans showed up within the last 10 minutes prior to the game, and they did a good job. Big crowd last week. You might notice new bleachers on both sides. First down, Portland. I understand this artificial turf may be replaced in the next year or two. This is the first site that had artificial turf in the area. And as we said at other broadcasts, Thornton is actually going to play 6 out of their 8 games on artificial turf this year. Obviously, the 4 home games at Dr. Paul S. Hill Jr. Stadium. Also artificial turf at Fitzpatrick, where we're here tonight, and also at Deering. Right now, business at hand. The Bulldogs on a drive. Zukowski hands off to Florentino. Not much there that time is the Trojans trying to dig in. 42, Connor McCrum. Mark Bolsino, 79. I think Bobby Began got part of that tackle as well. We're going to say no gain on the play. Just about halfway through this first period, and the Trojans have yet to touch the ball. Pitch Young calling signals. Good snap. He's going to keep it. And he is not going to go to the outside this time. He thought for a second about cutting back up the middle. Did not go there either. Connor McCrum, Bobby Began, and Chris Madden all in the area. Maybe a gain of a half yard at best. Big third down in the early going. Wide receiver to the top of the screen. 2 receivers to the near side. Pitch Young fakes the pass, tries to run, scrambles around, still on his feet. McCrum, Connor McCrum wrestles him down. Connor McCrum off the rodeo circuit. Bulldogs Pitch Young to the turf. Loss of 8 yards on the play as the quick feet of Pitch Young kept the play alive. But in the end, it was junior Connor McCrum. Grabbed on, wouldn't let go, threw Pitch Young to the turf. 4th and 18. What's your playbook say? 2 receivers to this side, everyone in tight. They do have player in the slot. And Portland going to call timeout. Again, Coach Mike Bailey, one of the senior coaches in the state of probably any sport, 26 years at Portland High School. Last year they were 2-6. This year, right now, 2-3. Again, I want to go back into the history. All-time statistics that we overheard by the PA announcer Peter Gribben, who is considered to be the unofficial historian of Portland High School sports. What he said was the first meeting between those teams was 1893. And no, Jeff Scott, I was not there for the game. You couldn't hear him off air. Jeff Scott, we'll just ignore him. Overall standings, Thornton 45 wins, Portland 43, and 4 ties. That's unbelievable how close that is. 1893. As far as Portland goes, again, this is only their 2nd home game. And they finish with 2 other home games. Cheverus on the 14th and South Portland on the 21st. So this is a big game if they're going to turn around their season. I'm sure they want to pick one here tonight. Again, as we said earlier, Thornton will finish with 2 games at home as well. The 15th, homecoming. A lot of happenings around regarding the homecoming and all kinds of festivities. That's on the 15th, and the Battle of the Bridge on the 22nd. So again, what's your playbook say for 4th and 18? Portland sort of shifts around. Pitch Young remains in quarterback. He drops back this time. He's going to throw deep across the middle, and it's going to be close to the end zone. Let's see what they mark it. Touchdown, Portland on a 4th and 18. Seamus Kilbride. 28-yard touchdown pass from Pitch Young. Only his 4th completion of the season. And Portland is on the board. At 5:21 to go of this first period. Looks like one of the big linemen going to be the place kicker. And Thornton jumped across here. Now, half the distance to the goal, Portland may try, or at least think about going for 2. Kyle Ricard, 250-pound lineman, says, I hope I get a chance to kick. Not to be too critical, but Thornton has been susceptible to that slant pattern. Lowry of Deering went deep a couple of times on the outside, but also Deering completed a number of passes slanting across the middle. So that was a 28-yard touchdown pass from Javon Pitts Young, hyphenated name, Pitts Young, to Seamus Kilbride. I guess the penalty's against Portland. Kilbride's 5'9", 145-pound senior.
Holding now from the 15, Kilbride kicking right foot.
So again, they're going to try to kick. The ball's going to be spot at the 15, so this will be a 25-yard, more like a field goal. And let's see. They say it's no good. So that penalty hurts Portland. As they come back up the field, 5:21 to go in this first period. Portland 6 and Thornton Academy nothing. You're watching high school football on Thornton Academy television. All right, Portland took the kickoff, ran it back to the 24, their own 24. They went on a drive. And on a 4th and 18, it was a 28-yard touchdown pass. Pitch Young to Kilbride. And Thornton touches the ball for the first time. Josh Coffin trying to get close to the 30. He's not going to make it. The junior Josh Coffin gets out to about the 27-yard line. Be 1st and 10 Trojans from that point. Last week, as we know, Deering jumped out in front 14-0, but the Trojans took all kinds of advantage in that second period of Deering turnovers. In that game, there was blocked punts and interceptions, fumble recoveries, all kinds of things went the way of the Trojans. Christensen, the quarterback, and handoff to Nick Kenny, pretty much off tackle. Right around about a 3-yard gain, stopped by the forward wall of the Portland Bulldogs. Zakowski getting credit for that tackle. Again, we have Keith Parento at center. Along that line, we have Chris Madden, 50, Luke Libby, 67, David LaPaulo, 72, Tyler Danley, 77. Tight end is 42, Connor McCrum. Wide receiver, Dakota Tarbox, 85. Christensen, the quarterback, with Libby, Morton, and Kenny in the backfield. Across the middle, Tarbox at the 50, 40, 30, 20. Dakota is in the end zone. Touchdown, Trojans. 69 yards. They couldn't catch him. Dakota Tarbox caught the ball, moved away from the Portland defender, sort of looked over his shoulder, and they never gained on him. Excellent speed shown by Dakota Tarbox as the Trojans come right back. Brandon Briggs will be the place kicker. Cody Meserve, 71, is the long snapper. Eric Christensen, number 11, the quarterback, is the holder. The kick is up, and the kick is good. Brandon Briggs continues his successful run. 4:26 to go, first period. Thornton Academy 7, Portland 6 on Thornton Academy television. Is the kickoff by Briggs. Portland catches at about the 3-yard line. Good speed up the middle here. And an excellent return. Let's pick up a number. Number 45, Jordan Flordino. I should say for it down to the 32-yard line. Florentino, a freshman, 5'8", 170 pounds. Excellent return. So Portland scored a touchdown, 5:21 to go on a 28-yard pass play. And then at 4:26, Eric Christensen to Dakota Tarbox, 69 yards. The kick by Brandon Briggs makes it 7-6, Thornton Academy. Pitch Young going to hand off. That's Volger, not much there. Testing the middle of the Thornton line. Andrew Libby, Bobby Began, I think, had a part of that tackle as well. 4 minutes, moving clock, first period. Taping this game on Thornton Academy television on Thursday night, October 6th. A little chill in the air. Excellent football weather, hardly any wind. 2nd and 9 Bulldogs. Pitch Young going to throw out in this right flat. It's complete, immediately going down, and they're going to say that Josh Sear had the face mask, and that was unfortunate because the Portland player was basically slipping at the same time, and I think maybe that contributed to the fact that Sear got the face mask. It was certainly, you know, at high school, I believe they're all 15. Let's see. At other levels of football, they can give it sometimes a 5-yard if they don't think it's flagrant. So I think that slip by that receiver maybe contributed to Sear getting the hand in the face mask area where he didn't want it to be. Certainly didn't have to. So 1st and 10, Bulldogs off the penalty, right in front of our Thornton Academy television position. You see Pitch Young faking it and keeping it. Pitch Young pretty much snowed under. Getting up, we see Quinlan O'Brien, Connor McCrum. Connor McCrum getting involved early on in some defensive action here.
A gain of 1 to the 47, 2nd down and 9.
Bobby Began has 49 tackles. Andrew Libby 51. John Remus 43. Some of the stats on the sportsinmaine.com website. 2nd down, Portland. Trying to get to the outside is Volger, and he's wrestled to the turf, and they're going to call another penalty for a punt with face mask. I believe Tarbox was over there. And it's a type of face mask. It's almost accidental. It's certainly not trying to, you know, use it to make a tackle. In both cases, the tackle was going to happen anyway. As the one case, the player was slipping, and that time the player really had no angle at all. So let's see if the Trojans can recover from this. Back-to-back first downs, a via penalty by Portland. Jason Webster is receiver this near side. 1st and 10, Bulldogs. Pitch Young looks to his left, and it's going to be complete for about 5 or 6 yards. He completes that to Florentino, the freshman. Remus and Forbes on the stop for TA. Just went under 2 minutes to go, first period. Thornton Academy 7, Portland 6.
Puts the ball down to 36, 2nd down and 5.
2nd and 5 from the 36 of Thornton. Pitch Young gonna run. I see Luke Libby sort of gives him a bear hug.
Helping out the tackle, McCrum along the Luke Libby.
McCrum also helping out. That's going to bring up a 3rd and about 2 for Portland Bulldogs here at Fitzpatrick Stadium.
3rd down and 2.
2 wide receivers to the near side. Another receiver in the slot right, as you see. Pitch Young, the sophomore quarterback, calling signals. And first down picked up by Volger as he picked his way around that right side. Again, Volger, a junior, 150-pound running back, but we have a flag on the play. That's going to bring it back. Volger did have the first down, but the chains are not going to move. Now, again, this is going to be a short conversation. You have to do it. I'm chuckling, but you ask the defensive captain, do you want to decline the penalty and have a first down here? Or do you want to move it back a number of yards? Really not much choice, obviously. Holding against Portland, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. It's going to make it 3rd and around 13. course, Portland picked up that 4th and 18 touchdown play, so they're certainly capable of making long yardage here as we're near 30 seconds to go in this first period. A pass complete across the middle. Pitch Young having his best passing game of the year. That went to Kilbride again. It's going to be 4th down, though. And that could be the last play of this first period. Pitch Young only had 3 out of 15 completions coming in. He's completed at least 3 tonight. It's going to be 4th and about 5 for Portland when we start the second quarter. But right now, that's the end of the first period. At the end of the first period, Thornton Academy 7, Portland 6. You're watching high school football on Thornton Academy Television. Okay, back for the second period. Portland certainly had time to talk to Coach Mike Bailey about the play call. 4th and 5, you see right in front of our Thornton Academy television position from about the 36.5-yard line. Pitch Young, back to pass. He's being pressured, and he's sacked. Who's at the bottom there? Last guy to get up, Luke Libby with another sack, and Mark Bosino was also there. So a turn of events here as the ball changes hands. 9-yard loss on 4th down. Thornton Academy 1st and 10 from their own 45. Excellent penetration. Pressure put on by a whole bunch of Trojans that time. Handoff inside to Nick Kenny. Short gain on the play. Nate Porter, one of the bigger Portland players, number 75, made the tackle. 6'4", 245-pound senior. I'm not getting in the way of him in the hallway, I'll tell you, going to class. I was at Portland. I'm sure he's a nice guy. Dylan Morton flank nearest. Dakota Tarbox top of the screen. Christensen going to keep. Christensen sort of bowls over a couple of Bulldogs, and if they spot it, might barely be into Portland territory, but it's going to bring up about a 3rd and 5 for the Trojans. Again, the Trojans 4-1, Portland 2-3. As again, unbelievable game 5 in the books, playing game 6 right now, and a couple of weeks we'll be talking playoffs. Actually, they did not get a good spot on that. They sort of moved it back. They're going to call it a 3rd and 6. Andrew Libby flanked closest to us. Morton in the slot. Christensen completes it to Tarbox. Tarbox shakes the defender, gets a couple of more yards. 1st down, Thornton. Couple of catches tonight for Dakota Tarbox. Right on the money with that pass was Eric Christensen. Coming into the game, Tarbox had 5 receptions for 91 yards. Christensen, 23 out of 56, 283 yards and a touchdown. Again, off the Sports in Maine website. Nick Kenny takes a handoff, nothing much there. Good job by that defensive front of the Portland Bulldogs. Maybe a gain of a half a yard. Just inside the 35 of Portland.
Just inside the 35. 2nd down for Thornton.
Hand off to Kenny. Shakes one tackler, but pretty good pursuit by the blue-shirted Bulldogs. Blue and white, their colors, as you can see.
Pick up 3 down to the 32. 3rd down.
Beginning to be 3rd and about 7. Let's see what Coach Kevin Kiesel draws up here.
Dylan Morton going to the top of the screen. Now they have Andrew Libby in the Wildcat because Christensen is flanked out there as well. Second one in from the top of the screen. Libby going to run it. Sort of dives towards the 25. This is going to be about a 4th and about 2, maybe 1.5. Fairly a long yardage, and they decided to run it out of the Wildcat with Andrew Libby taking the direct snap. Going back to the formation, you had Dylan Morton at the top of the screen, and then you had Eric Christensen, the second receiver in from the top. They're going to say 4th and 4. So I was looking maybe at the wrong marker over there. 4th and 4. It's Libby again, and he's not going to make it. As all over that one. Portland Bulldogs. Libby had no chance to pick a hole, as sometimes he can do from that Wildcat. And the Bulldogs take over, 1st and 10 from their own 30-yard line. So 3rd and long and 4th and long. They went to the Wildcat, and it did not work. Pitch Young remains the quarterback. We have not seen the freshman Ryan Rulin, and we see why. Pitch Young doing a nice job tonight. Hand off to Volger. Luke Libby, 67. Quinlan O'Brien, 64. The primary tacklers. And looks like Volger actually lost a yard. Fast-moving game here. Halfway through the second period. Thornton Academy 7, Portland 6 on Thornton Academy television. Taping from Fitzpatrick Stadium, the home of the state games. October 6th is our game date on a Thursday. Pitch Young sprints out to his right. Thought about passing. He tucks it under. Dances around. Gonna have a very short gain. Bobby Began, 53. Looks like Quinlan O'Brien in there again.
And O'Brien making the stop.
Quinlan O'Brien came in with 28 tackles. According to our stat sheet, Luke Libby had 25 tackles. Portland with a 3rd and 7, going right to left in your screen.
At the 34.
They have Kilbride nearest to us. Player in motion. Pitch Young gonna lob one and knocked away. Josh Sear had Kilbride that time. Kilbride ran to the middle of the field. He was the one that caught that touchdown pass. Ball hung up just a little bit. And Josh Sear timed it very well. A little height advantage as well on Seamus Kilbride. It's tough for me to root against Kilbride, you know, but with the Gaelic heritage, you know, probably related to him a number of generations ago, but Portland will be punting. At least they're in the punt formation. Pitch Young, the quarterback's actually the blocking back. Watch out, guys. Don't anybody touch it. Saw those in-between punts. Get a big Portland roll and very, very dangerous. Casey Mahoney, a 41-yard punt, the last 10 or 12 yards on the roll. So with 6:29 to go in the second period, the Trojans will take over from their own 25-yard line. Jim Toomey along with Jeff Scott and Greg Murray from Fitzpatrick Stadium in Portland. See the traffic on 295 going by. New bleachers here, quite a project put in. Kenny is met.
Quickly by number 34, Tate Gale.
Stepping right up to stop that one before it could get started was Tate Gale.
Ball carrier is Nick Kenny.
Loss of yard
on the play by Nick Kenny.
There's a loss of 1 to play.
Ball on the 24 of Thornton. They're leading 7-6. Little pass in the flat to Libby, and it's dropped. That was a forward pass, so it was not a live ball. Looks like Libby was trying to jump on it just in case. Anytime there's a loose ball like that, you always want to jump on it in case the referee does call it a lateral.
At the 34, at the 24, it's 3rd down and 11.
Let's see, coming in, John Remus, 33, replacing Dylan Morton on a 3rd and 11. Tarbox split wide, top of the screen. Andrew Libby in the slot. All kinds of movement up front now. Who did it? Both teams will point fingers on each other, just like who took the last cookie. He did it. He did it. And this time, caught with their hand in the cookie jar, I guess, was the Thornton Academy. Somebody had a false start up front.
Moving the ball back to the 19-yard line. 3rd down, 16.
3rd and 16. See if this changes the play call at all. Trojans certainly capable of making long yardage plays. Christensen going to sprint out to his left. Fakes the pass. Is going to run it, but pretty good defense downfield. Tarbox was open in the beginning of that pattern. I'm not sure that Christensen saw him, and then Portland secondary really took charge there, and Christensen had no place to go. So it'll be Andrew Libby dropping back in punt formation.
Punting position is 16, Andrew Libby.
Back deep, Seamus Kilbride for Portland. Good snap. Nice kick by Libby. Kilbride at the 40, gets by the first tackler, and is going to be into Thornton territory. Thornton had excellent speed downfield, but Kilbride was able to get around that first would-be tackler. And pretty good field position for Portland as they're in Thornton territory at the 46-yard line. Again, October 15th, home game against Scarborough. Homecoming, all kinds of stuff going on. And then the 22nd of October, the Battle of the Bridge. As we said a number of times, Sunday Telegram a number of years ago had a poll, and the Biddeford TA game was voted #1 rivalry in the state. Right here, we have another long rivalry, Portland against Thornton. Right here in front of us, some tough yardage by Portland's Nick Volger. Picked up maybe 1 on the play. Only 4:25 to go in this first half. Portland would love to score and go ahead. They certainly want to eat up some clock and not give Thornton Academy another possession. They're going to mark it as a 2-yard gain, 2nd and 8, Bulldogs. Pitch Young, going to run it. Grabbed by Libby. As Pitch Young found a hole, very quickly was past the linebackers, and Andrew Libby had to come up from his secondary position. It's going to be 3rd and 1. Certainly in 4-down territory. Portland has 2 chances to get this yard.
At the 37, it's 3rd down.
Notice even in short yardage situations, the Bulldogs remain in that Wildcat formation. Once again, a direct snap to Pitch Young, trying to pick his hole. He's going to have a first down. He didn't get that much, but he didn't need that much.
Beacon in on the tackle. Pitch Young, a gain of 3 on the play, down to the 34. Gives the Bulldogs the 1st and 10.
First down, Portland from the 34 of Thornton. Pitch Young went to the sideline a little bit, got a message from the Portland coaching staff. Kilbride to the top of the screen. Another player in the slot. Another player nearest to us. Pitch Young gonna pass. He's throwing deep down this left sideline. Overthrows. Number 2, Jason Webster. Kyle Forbes on the defense. Pretty good defense by Forbes. Pitch Young had to sort of drop that in, or try to, over that outside shoulder, and he couldn't quite do it. Clock stops, 2:55 to go. That was a first down play. So Portland still with 3 downs to pick up the 10 yards, keep the drive alive, and have the clock wind down. Webster closest to us. In motion, Florentino, the fake, and Pitch Young going to keep it for a short gain. Javon Pitch Young, 5'9", 165 pounds, and a sophomore.
Gain of 4 to the 30. 3rd down and 6.
Third and 6. Just went under 2.5 minutes to go in this first half. Let's see. Timeout Portland, I think. Either they didn't like the offensive set, didn't like the defensive formation, or they might have been worried about a delay of game because it was getting pretty close to that. So they use another timeout here. 2:13 to go, first half. I said in the pregame, Thornton probably could score a lot of points off this Portland defense, except Thornton hasn't had that many possessions. The time of possession certainly tilted by the way of the Portland Bulldogs, who have eaten up an awful lot of clock in this first half. I understand, again, we're going worldwide. If you go on YouTube, put in Thornton Academy football, and very soon all the games will be on there. Jeff Christenberry, the TATV staff, working behind the scenes doing that. I have Jeff Scott up in the booth with me tonight. Usually on the ladder in the end zone. What's the highest ladder you worked off, Jeff? About 12 feet, 16? 22-foot ladder. Don't let OSHA hear that. Jeff's been in all kinds of weather with some of the end zone shot for the coaches. Greg Murray's been outside a few times as well. And again, Randy Pulsiver also doing yeoman's job on the camera for many years. 3rd and 6. Javon Pitch Young rolls out, trying to buy some time. Throws across the middle, and they're going to say a catch. Referee said no catch. They looked at each other and they waved it off, and I think it was the correct call. The Portland coaching staff does not agree. We have no replays here. Do you ever go to a live game and almost expect a replay because we see it so much on TV? For a split second, sometimes I do that. I think it was the correct call. It was a short hop. 4th and 6 Bulldogs. They have to get to about the 24-yard line. Yes, it's on the 30, just about to the 24. 4th down, late in this first period. Thornton leading 7-6. Pitch Young drops back, looks to his right. Now he's going to go right down the middle and knocked away. As Kilbride, for a split second, almost had a second touchdown. He got caught between Andrew Libby and Kyle Forbes on the defense. So the Trojans come up with a defensive stop, and the Thornton Academy, from their own 30, will have 1 minute and 53 seconds to put on another score in this first half. Let's see what kind of a playbook they use here. Dylan Morton to the bottom of the screen. Dakota Tarbox to the top of the screen. Junior quarterback Eric Christensen get a hand off to a fellow junior, Nick Kenny. A little hole this time. About 5 yards on the play. Be 2nd and 5, Thornton. The Portland defensive line's had a pretty good night here, shutting down the running game of Thornton. Thornton's got at least a couple of timeouts left, but the clock down to a minute and a half. They're going to have to pick up the pace here if they're going to put on any semblance of a drive. Kenny has the first down, a little bit more. Kenny over the 45 to about the 46-yard line. 1st and 10, your Golden Trojans. Clock will stop as they move the chains and will start again. Now what Thornton should do is get the play and quickly get to the line of scrimmage. They have all 3 timeouts left. Clock ticking off here. Back to pass is Christensen. He's being pressured, and he's going to be brought down. First player in there creating all kinds of havoc was Anthony Green, a sophomore defensive end, then got some help. And that pretty much could have the Trojans rethink their calls here. They're not calling a timeout, so we might be down to the final play here of this first half. Tarbox to the top of the screen. Morton once again to the bottom of the screen. 30 seconds to go on a 2nd and 18. Handoff to Kenny. Gain of about a yard, and that could be the last play of the first half. Thornton is not going to use the timeouts. They'll head to the locker room, regroup. So at the end of the first half of action from Fitzpatrick Stadium in Portland, Maine. Taping this game on October 6th. Thornton Academy 7, Portland High School 6. Stay tuned for the second half on Thornton Academy Television.
Thanks, Jim. And an interesting first half, not exactly the most intense game we've ever seen in their lives. 7-6 Thornton Academy here at halftime. Really, Tyler, the one big play for Thornton Academy on defense, a poor play. It's 4th and 18. Portland had the ball at about the 25-yard line, and the safety let player get behind him for a touchdown. And how important do you think that was, for TA just to get off to a poor start like that? And on 4th and 18, you just don't want to give that up. Well, we've seen TA's defense come through big in a lot of games early on this season, but the two instances I can remember with them letting up big plays would be this one in tonight's game, but also the one against South Portland late in the game where they let up that long touchdown. And they tend to have these problems where they're doing so well for so long in that South Portland game, and then they let up that one big play and ended up costing them the game. And you'd hate to see that happen tonight, but it does have that feel. It's a 7-6 game. It could easily be a tie game right now, and that play is huge. Like you said, 4th and 18. You got to clamp down, and you just can't let that happen. Obviously, coming right back, though, Thornton Academy 2 plays and a huge play to Dakota Tarbox. He caught the ball about 10 yards beyond the line of scrimmage, and he was just off to the races. So, talk about him all year. I mean, he's been the guy that you won't see him for a week, and then he pops up and makes a big play like that. Well, what do you think it's like for TA to have someone like that can make a play at any time and change the course of the game? He really is what I would call a low-key playmaker, because he's not an Andrew Libby in the sense that he is not consistently in the headlines. He's not a player of the week. He's not a consistent target on this offense, but he comes through big when he needs to with those interceptions, and that of course on the defensive side of the ball, but on offense too. He usually really makes the plays when they need them most, and that's in some big situations too, and we saw that again tonight. He just comes through, again, like you said, not every week, not even every other week, but he comes through big in important situations, and he really is an important part of this offense. I think one of the most, if not the most important person as a target for Eric Christensen. Yeah, obviously after that it's really been battle of attrition. Both teams not really getting a big drive together, going for it on 4th downs because they're getting inside the 40, not really getting it. Nick Kenny has not been able to do a thing. Though it is fair to say Portland's probably held the ball. I don't have the time of possession stats. They held the ball for almost the entire first half. Thornton Academy only a couple possessions, not even counting that last one, which is kind of a run off the clock situation. One question I have, looking at the Wildcat, I mean, they've used the Wildcat trying to get Andrew Libby the ball, which is good. I can't remember a single time this year where they've passed the ball in that situation. Now, maybe against Portland, they're not going to be able to adjust, but when they play, a Chevrolet or a Bonnie Eagle, when they're going to look at the film and say, wow, anytime Andrew Libby is in the backfield as a quarterback, he's going to run the football. Do you think they have to change it up to at least get defenses thinking when they get to play some of the better teams in the conference?
I think the last thing TA wants to do is become a predictable offense because they have enough problems as it is. This offense is prone to mistakes. They have a lot of mishaps late in games, and they're just fairly inconsistent overall. And the last thing they want to do is be a predictable team. So when you have that Wildcat and you have Andrew Libby in the backfield, you got to come up with some of those creative plays that are going to get the ball to the wide receivers. Maybe he does run with it on a couple of them, but also get him throwing it because ultimately you don't want them to be able to detect that play is coming. That's your signature play. That's going to get you some points, get you down the field. You don't want teams to know that before it even happens.
I think a key for the second half is going to be intensity from either team. I mean, we're talking, it's a really dead atmosphere here. It's a Thursday night game. Obviously, Thornton Academy is definitely populated Portland sidelines. But on the sideline, it's just not the same here. And I've noticed that over the last couple of years here at Fitzpatrick Stadium, unless it's the state championship game or something like that, it's really tough to get an atmosphere. And that could hurt a team like Thornton Academy coming in as the favorite, not getting intense. So what do you think he's firing up there in the locker room right now?
I think he's doing everything he can to get these guys motivated. 7-6 against a 2-3 Portland team. They just beat Deering last week on the road. They can play a lot better than they have been. And I do think this crowd is a big factor. I mean, TA has come out in support of this team in a good showing for a road game, but nonetheless, it's still a pretty stagnant atmosphere, not a lot going on, and TA strives and definitely improves under those home conditions with a lot of excitement, big crowds, and I think that tonight we're definitely seeing the effects of a team that's on the road.
Yeah, obviously everybody's probably home watching the Bruins right now, so. Yeah. All right, so what do you think is going to happen in the second half? I mean, TA's comes out and they're going to get the football to start. Do you think, how important is it for them to come out and really get the first touchdown?
I'm going to be kind of optimistic. I say they come out, they lead a long drive, they eat up some minutes on the clock, and they end up scoring a touchdown. I do still think TA is going to win this game by 2 scores. I'd say maybe 21-7. I think their defense isn't going to make any more slip-ups. I think they're going to be a clamp-down defense. They know they can win this game. They know they need to win this game to keep their reputation solid. So I think that they're going to come out with a vengeance in this second half.
Right. Obviously, if they get a win today, they're in the playoffs, guaranteed. So that's going to be a big factor. Pitts Young, quarterback for Portland, very shifty. A lot of great moves so far. I have a feeling he's going to make a big mistake. Whether he's a young kid, only a sophomore, I think he's going to throw a bad interception or a fumble that really could change the course of this game, though he is pretty impressive. A very young but a very talented Portland Bulldogs, so anything can happen here. That's going to do it here for the halftime show. We're going to send it back up to Jim. You've been watching Thornton Academy Sports Live.
Okay, the captains re-meeting for the second half kickoff. I believe Thornton is going to get the ball to start the second half. They always have a quick meeting. And Thornton will be receiving, Portland kicking left to right. Again, 7-6, Thornton Academy. Portland get on the scoreboard first in the first quarter at 5:21 on the clock. Sophomore quarterback Javon Pitts Young on a slant pattern hit Seamus Kilbride from 28 yards out. And maybe a big play in this game, a bigger play than we thought at the time. Portland was called for a penalty on the extra point attempt before they even got it off. The ball was moved back on a false start. Ended up being like a 25-yard field goal, and it was no good. So they led 6-0. But Thornton came back, I believe it was 2 plays later. Eric Christensen hooked up with Dakota Tarbox on a 69-yard touchdown pass. Tarbox caught it. I'm looking down trying to refresh my memory. Probably at about the 35 or 40 of Portland. Portland defenders tried to catch him, but Tarbox put it into a higher gear and went into the end zone untouched. And the point after touchdown was good by Brandon Briggs. 7-6 Thornton. There was no scoring in the second period. So that's how we have it. 7-6 Thornton as Portland kicks off. It's going to be Josh Coffin at about the 17-yard line. Coffin to the 30 and up over the 35-yard line. Second kickoff return by the junior Josh Coffin. So again, as we said many times, what adjustments are made in the locker room? And then how do the players on the field execute those adjustments often goes a long way to determining the overall victor in a game. Looks like the same offensive set for the Trojans. Eric Christensen, the junior quarterback, hands off to Kenny. And Kenny's thrown back after a short gain. Now, as we check the Portland sideline, we did notice that the freshman quarterback, Ryan Rulin, was not dressed for the game. We expect to see the tandem of Rulin doing a lot of the passing and Pitch Young doing the running. But Javon Pitch Young is going all the way at the quarterback position. And now we know why, as we see number 11 on the sideline, that being Ryan Rulin. Gain of about 2, 2nd and 8 Trojans. A pass out here right in front of us to Tarbox. Tarbox gets by the first tackler, and that's going to make it a 3rd and short for the Trojans. Referee's actually going to look across. And now they say first down, a very good spot. So about an 8 to 9 yard pickup. Pass play, Eric Christensen to Dakota Tarbox. A couple of juniors combining on that play. Keith Parento at center. Along that offensive line, we have Lapalo 72, Libby 67. Looks like a false start on Thornton. Chris Madden 50. Luke Libby 67. Connor McCrum 42 is the tight end. The center, Keith Parento. That's going to be 1st and 15 now for the Golden Trojans. 10:45 moving clock, 3rd period. Thornton leading 7-6 over the Portland High Bulldogs as we tape this game on Thursday night, October 6th, from Fitzpatrick Stadium in Portland. In motion is Libby. And Christensen going to keep it, and well scouted by the Bulldogs.
First tackle in there for Portland, 28, Bernie Gale.
Of course, Fitzpatrick Stadium, the home of the state championship games. All 3 games are played here. Eastern Maine fans question that, but what happened a number of years ago is they would play at different sites, A, B, and C. Had some rainy conditions during the week. A lot of those grass fields became unplayable. They moved all the games here on the artificial turf, and the MPA decided to keep them here due to the fact you had the Bangor television station here all day. Notice I didn't say a Portland station, but live coverage from the Bangor TV, as well as all your concessions were set up for the entire day. Right now, Eric Christensen thought about passing. Nobody was free, and then he finally has to eat the ball a little bit. But that is a great day of football, because once you get in here for the $7 price, you would have to eat the stadium food, which isn't that bad in all honesty, and stay the entire day for $7, a triple header. Like they usually play at 11, 2:30, and 7 o'clock. You cannot leave the grounds unless you want to pay again. But again, some of the Eastern Maine fans would like at least one of the games played at the University of Maine, but right now it remains the Saturday before Thanksgiving, the triple header right here. And right now, Thornton going to call a timeout for a play call, 3rd and 16 from their own 41-yard line with 8:59 to go in this 3rd period. Jim Toomey along with Jeff Scott and Greg Murray up in the press box. Had a conversation with athletic director Michael McCullum of Portland, who was very friendly. We've run into some very friendly and cooperative athletic directors. Of course, our favorite is Gary Stevens, but the away games, we've been treated very nicely. But if you want a tour of Maine, I'll tell you, go with Jeff Scott or Greg Murray trying to find a place to eat, because you see places you didn't even think existed, and when all is said and done, you go about 10 miles, it was like you only had to go 2 miles because of the different ways they go. Outside of that, they do a great job on the cameras and been very loyal to the Thornton Academy program for many years, along with Randy Pulsiver. And I'm pretty much done when I leave the air here, and these guys go and edit and try to get films out to coaches in very short order and that type of thing. It's a lot harder than it looks, and Jeff Christenberry doing an outstanding job with Thornton Academy Television. Right now trying to do an outstanding job, and doing so is Christensen to Tarbox, who's going to be inside the 10. Wow, the second long completion. That went from the 41 of Thornton, and I think it's inside the 10. Oh, actually, this is even better because they mark it outside. I love that 1st and 10 from about 10.5. Potentially, you have 8 plays to get it in. So it's one of those fortunate cases here. You don't want it just inside the 10 because then it'll be 1st and goal. Nick Kenny close to the end zone. He's going to be down about the 1. Good blocking by that offensive front. Excellent pass on the previous play. Eric Christensen pretty much in the middle of the field down that right sideline. Just dropped it right into Dakota Tarbox, having a big night. Full house backfield. Remis joins Kenny and Libby. Quarterback sneak. Christensen, he's close. Referee's coming in. No signal yet. I think they, there's a big pileup. You're sort of guessing where to mark it, really. Now they say touchdown Trojans. They peel everybody off and say, you know what? That ball's in the end zone. So a 1-yard touchdown run by Eric Christensen, 8:09 to go in this 3rd period. But it was that long pass, about 50 yards from Christensen to Tarbox, that set it up. Brandon Briggs with the all-important extra point. They're all important at any time. Like to make this an 8-point margin. Cody Meserve, the long snapper. Christensen sets it down. The kick looks good, and it is good. So as they come back up the field, 8:09 to go in the 3rd period. Thornton Academy 14, Portland 6. You're watching high school football on Thornton Academy Television, Saco, Maine. Okay, Brandon Briggs with the kickoff. Nice high kick going all the way down to about the 2-yard line. Sort of a hole up the middle there. Now the Trojans, a little gang tackling at about the 18. All kinds of players in there. Take your pick. Cody Lynn, 18. Aaron Scott, 43. 46, John Riziakis in there. And even more players you might have seen on your TV screen that I couldn't see for the press box. Actually going to mark it at the 20. They threw him back by the 18, but for progress to the 20-yard line. 1st and 10 Bulldogs trailing 14-6. And close to a 1st down is Nick Volger. And I think they're going to move the change. Nick Volger had 205 yards coming into the game, averaging about 4 yards a carry. He was good for about 11 yards. McBride, flank nearest to us. Webster in the slot. Hand off to Volger, and he's going to be dragged down. John Remis grabbed some laundry that time and wouldn't let go. He grabbed the shirt.
Loss of 3 on the play. Ball now back at the 29. 2nd down, 15.
Loss on the play. Again, along that front, 79 Mark Bosino, 64 Quinlan O'Brien, 67 Luke Libby, Connor McCrum playing defensive end, 42 linebackers Tarbox, Madden, and Began. Again, Javon Pitts Young on the carry. Very quick feet. Short gain on this play. 5-yard gain, tackled by Chris Madden.
3rd down and 8.
3rd and 8 for the Bulldogs of Portland High School. Dressing about 36 players tonight. 36 players listed on the roster. There's actually about 5 players we see on the injury list, so to speak, on the sidelines. Pitch Young, back to pass. Throws down the right sideline. The ball hangs up just a little bit. Incomplete. Double coverage. John Remis, 33. Josh Sear, 41. Be 4th down and a punting situation for Portland. Pass intended for the senior, Jason Webster. But the ball hung up just a little bit. Andrew Libby, 16. Dylan Morton, 24. Back to receive this punt for the Trojans. Again, they have Javon Pitch-Young as the blocking back here. Mahoney, the punter, fair catch. But they don't have to catch it, but that means they can't run with it now. Came up a lot shorter, I think, than Andrew Libby thought. The ball rolls dead about the 32 of Thornton. And look down again, how about the 33? But interesting punt formation because you have your quarterback as the blocking back, so at some point it'll be a direct snap to him on a 4th down play. Sort of stands out there a little bit, wearing number 4 in that blocking back position. 1st and 10 Trojans from their own 33, leading 14-6, 5:57 to go, 3rd period, and a flag goes flying in. That's always bad news for that offensive line. There's been a number of holding this year when the offense almost gains nothing on the play. So I'm saying whoever was holding wasn't doing a very good job because it obviously could be somebody else making the tackle, but that's happened a number of times this year, ironically so.
Holy cow. What's the call?
It might be worse than holding because it looks like they're going back 15 yards. Was it chop block maybe? Boy, with a very quick flag there. Christensen thought about passing. Now he runs for a short gain. It was a 1st down and 24. At least that's what the scoreboard said. It's going to be 2nd down and maybe about 22. Andrew Libby flank nearest to us. Looks like Morton in the slot. Christensen trying to find Tarbox along that right side and almost intercepted. As a defender cutting in, Justin Zakowski. As Tarbox was in that same area, he's been successful. The right sideline, we'll call it, had a defender behind him. And then Justin Zakowski came up in front of Tarbox and almost came up with a big turnover. In the end, it fell harmlessly to the turf, which brings up every coach's favorite call, 3rd and 20. From the 23-yard line, Thornton's own 23. Christensen looks to the flat nearest to us. Then he scrambles, and he's going to be brought down. Excellent tackle by Zakowski. A big defensive series for Justin Zakowski, a sophomore, 5'11", 155 pounds, and he pretty much single-handedly stopped that drive. Of course, the penalty really was the thing that maybe Thornton shot themselves in the foot a little bit. Libby back in punt formation.
punting position. Kilbride.
Libby gets it away. Comes up a little short and takes a forward roll there and goes out of bounds. A little bit of a Thornton bounce that time. Obviously no return. Let's see where the officials are going to mark it. It's going to be 1st and 10 for the Portland Bulldogs on their own 44-yard line.
The Bulldogs take over 1st and 10 for their own 44.
4:08 to go, third period. Thornton leading 14-6. Nothing has come easy tonight. We've had some outstanding pass plays on both teams. Portland eating up a lot of clock via the run. Pitch Young get a handoff to Floridino. Floridino changes course, comes this way, but when all was said and done, he probably ran about 20 yards to gain 2. The play designed to go off the left side. Next thing you know, it's coming right back to this side. Excellent pursuit both ways by Thornton. They're going to say it's a 1-yard gain, 2nd and 9. Again, the secondary, 41 Josh Sear, 33 John Remus, 16 Andrew Libby, and 12 Kyle Forbes. Low snap, but Pitch Young gets it away. Hands off in the secondary. He could go. Volger inside the 10 and knocked out of bounds by Kyle Forbes. Just barely short of the goal line. Nick Volger went from his own 45 down to about inside the 1. Forbes barely knocked him out of bounds. Another big play for the Portland Bulldogs. 54-yard run by Nick Volger. A junior, 150 pounds. Got around this right corner, found some daylight, turned on the jets. Forbes got the angle on him, but barely knocked him out. They still have this spread formation from the 1-yard line. Pitch Young, hands off to Volger. Referees don't signal yet. Was there a loose ball or not? No call yet. They're short of the goal line. That ball is about a football's length away from the goal line.
Ball is inches away from the goal line.
And again, they still go to the spread formation, unlike Thornton Academy that would be in the full house. And Pitch Young, I believe, is in for the touchdown. Touchdown, Portland. It was the quarterback, Javon Pitch Young, from 1 yard out. 2:26 to go in this third period. It's 14-12. I'm guessing Portland will go for 2 points to tie this up. Again, their first extra point, because of a penalty, actually took place from the 25-yard line. It was no good. Yes, indeed. The Bulldogs going for the tie here. Ball spot at the 3-yard line for this extra point. Pitch Young fakes the pass. He wants to run. Now he passes. And it's complete. The 2 points. No, they wave it off. He said he stepped over the end line. It went to Seamus McBride, and I think they waved it off. Referee's going to conference it. Portland coaching staff has their arms in the air like it was good. Still a conference going down there. I'm sure Jeff Scott has a shot of it. 3 officials are there. 4th official coming over. The official closest to it sort of waved it off, saying he didn't have possession. along the end line, the far end of the end zone. They're still talking it over. Now let's see what the official's going to do. Wait a minute, now they say a penalty against Thornton for what? The signal the referee gave was like ineligible receiver downfield. Why would that be against Thornton? He went to the top of his hat. He patted himself on the cap. This is really interesting here. As Thornton is ready to kick off. Yeah, an eligible receiver against Portland as he points finally in the right direction. Some lineman probably went in the end zone, but they waved it off on the bobble or didn't have possession or stepped on the end line. So it remains 14-12 after all that. So, you know what? I do know my signs. Except the referee pointed to the defense ineligible downfield, and then they clarified it finally. So one of the linemen got a little too deep in the end zone, so it would not have counted anyway. So the pass was incomplete. Penalty against Portland declined. Trojans cling to this 2-point lead. And let's see, the ball's out of bounds here, so it's going to be excellent field position for the Trojans. Still 2:26 to go in this third period. As the game has slowed down just a little bit, very fast pace in the first half, they're actually going to make them re-kick. I'm not sure if they have an option or not, to tell you the truth. In the pros, it's really bad news because you take it out to the 40, like automatic. They'll have to kick this one back from the 35 instead of the 40. Let's see if the Trojans can get good field position via the return. Josh Coffin is in the middle. Nick Kenny on the far left as you look down. Coffin in the middle. Andrew Libby on the right. And the ball is going to go to Libby this time. Libby at the 30, 35, 40, and about the 43-yard line. So the penalty does hurt Portland, as the Trojans have a pretty good return and will work from their own 43-yard line. So it was 7-6 Thornton at the half. The Trojans have scored a touchdown, an extra point. Portland has scored a touchdown and missed the extra point in this third period. So the Trojans have gained 1 point to lead by 2 points, 14-12. I think direct snap to Libby on the Wildcat. And I think Portland might have seen some film during the week. I hope it wasn't our YouTube showing of the Deering game. There's all kinds of ways they get scouting reports these days. Actually a loss on the play. 2nd and 12 Trojans from their own 40.
Lost of 2 in the play, back to the 40. 2nd down, 12.
Pretty good crowd on hand for a Thursday night. Nick Kenny up over the 45 to the 46. Luke Libby right beside him leading the way as we count down to a minute and a half to go, third period.
Gain of 5 on the play. 3rd down and 7.
Third and 7 Trojans. Morton to the top of the screen. Tarbox flanked right in front of us here. Christensen calling signals. Good snap by Parento. Christensen in trouble. Flag goes in. That's not good news for Thornton as it goes right into where the blockers are. It's a first down now, but it's not going to hold.
Also there's Tate Gale. There are flags in the field. Indicates the holding penalty against Thornton.
10 yards from the spot of the foul. It's pretty much in the backfield, so it's not downfield at all. So it's going to be like third and probably about 15 or 17, something like that. Now again, they talked to the Portland captain. Said, do you want to decline the penalty and give Thornton a first down, or do you want to take the yardage? I know they have to ask him, but I still find it kind of humorous. Do you want me to give you $100, or you want me to give you a kick in the shins? What is it?
Really? Third down and 23.
How about 3rd and 23? So that holding was deep in the backfield as we went under a minute in this third period. Christensen looks across the middle and taking too much time and finally sacked. That's one of those coverage sacks. The line did a pretty good job holding players out of there, but nothing available downfield. That could be the last play of the third period. As Thornton certainly went backwards on that drive, as they started on their own 40, and they end up with a 4th and 23. Well, they're marking it at the 25. I'm not sure the math all comes out, but they certainly did go backwards. Libby in punt formation. Cody Meserve, excellent snap. Nice kick by Libby. Fair catch. That's by McBride at about his own 34-yard line. That's going to do it for the third period. Through 3 quarters of action from Fitzpatrick Stadium in Portland, Maine. It's Maine High School football tonight. At the end of 3 is Thornton Academy 14 and Portland 12. You're watching Thornton Academy television. Okay, back for the start of the 4th period. Portland ball. I hope our crew stays here. They just wanted our 2-for-1 special, the refreshment stand, but they're loyal to TA and they're staying to film this game. As Jeff Scott, Greg Murray around the leg. There's a pass, complete. Fumble, and does Thornton have possession? It's still loose. Wow, this pass was complete, and it's Thornton ball. Wow, what a break in this ball game. I'll tell you, I hope you're taping this game because you could play it back and probably slow-mo it and everything else. Excellent pass completion. John Remus, I think, knocked it loose. The ball looked like it was going to roll out of bounds. It would have been Portland's ball. And then that funny ball with the points on the end sort of reverse direction. You think Kyle Forbes recovered it? Remus recovered it maybe in the end. But a big turnover here. Let's see if the Trojans can do something. On the offensive side, Kenny to about the 25-yard line. But that ball appeared to be heading out of bounds. And, you know, as soon as it does, you cannot recover it, obviously. And almost like a player might slide out of bounds trying to get it. And somehow it stayed in. And then it was loose like a second time. So have fun rewinding that one. 4-yard gain by Kenny. 2nd and 6 now. Trojans ball to their own 25. 1 minute into this third period. TA leading 14-12. Dylan Morton on the flanker around. Loose ball. Loose ball. And Portland's recovered it. Morton, probably a yard short of the first down, gives up the ball. And Thornton's all excited. First and 10 Bulldogs from the 30 of Thornton at 10:53 to go in this 4th period. Portland has 2 receivers to the top of the screen, and we have Webster closest to us. Javon Pitts-Young, sophomore quarterback, takes a low snap, and I'll tell you, that threw the timing all off. And Quinlan O'Brien, the Q-man, his eyes lit up that time as he was all over Nick Volger. Just that low snap throws the timing off just a little bit. And defensive linemen say, thank you very much. 4-yard loss. Second and 14. I stand corrected after the 4-yard loss. Pitts-Young back to pass. Fakes a pass, being pursued. He's in trouble. Changes direction, throws it deep and out of bounds. Pretty good athletic effort by Javon Pitts-Young. As I said in the earlier part of the game, he came off the bench in basketball, especially towards the end of the year. Really sparked the Bulldogs, who played well at the end, had some big games in the tournament, and expect him to start this year. He was very tough to handle on penetration, as I recall, and you see it here tonight with very quick feet. Portland made sort of a Cinderella run in the basketball tournament. Right here, it's business at hand. Big rivalry game based on history. 14-12 Thornton with 10 minutes to go in the fourth period. Low snap again, but Pitts-Young scoops it up like a shortstop, so to speak, and goes forward for at least some gain. But that's going to bring up 4th and about 11. Now, for people who are watching this game or maybe read about it, Portland had a long first down. I believe it was 4th and 18 in the first period, and Pitts-Young hit Kilbride on a 28-yard touchdown pass, so they're certainly capable of doing it. 4th and 11 Bulldogs from the 32 of Thornton Academy. Pitts-Young scrambles a little bit to his right, looks downfield, and he's going to throw it up, incomplete. He was being pressured on that far sideline. Quinlan O'Brien again has come on strong the last couple of games defensive-wise. The ball falls harmlessly to the artificial turf here, and Thornton takes over. So give credit to the defense. After Portland recovered a fumble at the 30 of Thornton, the ball ends up at the 31, so they lost 1 yard in 4 plays. Trojans would love to get a touchdown here, make it a 9-point margin. Nick Kenny fights his way over the 35-yard line to the 36. Trojans go down and make a touchdown and make the extra point. 21-12, a 9-point margin. That's certainly more than a touchdown plus the 2-point conversion. 8:50 on a moving clock here. They would love to eat clock and to put 7 on the board. That's what you would do, textbook style, if they could do it. Dylan Morton flank closest to us. Kenny again takes the handoff, and give credit to that Portland defensive line. They've held the ground very well. I see big 75 in there for Portland. Nate Porter, again, the 245-pound lineman, who I said I didn't want to bump into the hallway in Portland.
No gain the flag at the 36, 3rd down and 6.
I guess if you're running late for class, you'd say, hey, Nate, can you get me to the next class on time? And you just follow Nate Porter, 245 pounds, down into the chemistry lab. Andrew Libby, flanked right in front of us. Tarbox, top of the screen. 3rd and 6, Thornton Academy, a big 3rd down. And what a catch by Libby. It's pass interference, and he still caught it. As Seamus McBride was all over Libby, the referee was throwing the flag, but it's reception anyway. Should be a 1st down Thornton. If not, I'm going to be shocked. Pass interference is 15 yards, so you can take. Okay, they're calling defensive holding. Defensive holding is only 5 yards, I believe, and automatic 1st down. Some of these penalty situations are a little bit different from the college and the pros. Some of the yardages and down situation are a little bit different. In the NFL, it's defensive holdings 5 yards and an automatic first down. Even if it was like 3rd and 20, it would be an automatic first down. So I think it was 5 yards because they did not take the penalty. They took the yardage. So reception by Andrew Libby on a nice catch. First down Trojans from the 46-yard line.
They need to punch us in.
They
need to punch us in.
7:43 to go in the clock. Thorn leading by 2. Kenny with the football. Kenny into Portland territory, dragging a couple of tacklers. Nice effort, Nick Kenny. I'm going to say about a 6-yard gain. PA says 8 yards, so what's new? Looks like more than 2 yards for the first down over there. I'm looking to my camera people. Now, Randy Pulitzer always nods. I'm not sure Greg Murray and Jeff Scott would always agree as much as Randy does. I miss Randy. But anyway, full house backfield, short yardage. And John Remus got to about the 45. I think they're going to be short. About 3rd and 1 yard. 3rd and a yard to go, I believe. They'll probably go full house again. Again, Keith Parento, the center, also in that offensive line. LaPaulo, Danley, Madden, Libby, McCrum's the tight end. But a full house set here. Libby with the first down. Protects the ball. Libby had 2 arms around it. Clock stops with 6:24 to go. It'll start again after the chains are reset. Jim Toomey along with Jeff Scott and Greg Murray and Jeff Christenberry from Fitzpatrick Stadium, Portland, Maine. Thornton Academy leading 14-12 with the football over a very tough Portland Bulldogs team. Kenny takes the handoff, short gain.
And Rudy Gale made the tackle.
Porter and Gale on the tackle for the Portland Bulldogs.
2nd down and 9.
A little different formation. We have 3 receivers to this side. John Remus is in the backfield with Libby on the Wildcat, as Christensen was flanked nearest to us. And once again, I'm sensing that Portland spent some time in the film room during the week, as the Trojans tried to spread out the Bulldogs by having 3 players, including Christensen, flanked nearest to us. Also filming for the coaches on the field camera tonight is Kathy Sortier. Again, the coaches get many different angles, many different shots other than what you see on regular TV. And what you saw this time was Nick Kenny on a 3rd and 11, picking up about 2. It's 4th and 9, and I think Thornton's going to punt. So what started out promising, in a sense of eat up some clock, maybe pick up a touchdown, sort of goes awry here. Libby in punt formation. Cody Meserve, the long snapper, the sophomore. Excellent snap. Libby gets it away. Fair catch. Still a live ball to be downed. And Morton's going to down it right around the 10 or 11 yard line. 4:04 to go. Portland has 3 timeouts left, so no problem there. And Thornton clinging to this precarious 2-point lead, 14-12. Thornton outscored Portland 7-6 in the first period and 7-6 in the second period. In the third period. 7-6 after one, 7-6 at the half, 14-12 at the end of three. And the ever-dangerous speed of Portland. Let's see if it comes to pass here. Javon pitch Young. Hands off. That's Florentino. Jordan Florentino. A freshman running back, 170 pounds. Picked up maybe one or two. Pretty good pursuit by the Trojan defense that time. Trojan defense looking to the sidelines, getting the defensive formations. Portland with a receiver to the top of the screen, two receivers to the near side. Pitch Young back to pass, throws in this left flat. Dancing around is Florentino. Slowing him down was Kyle Forbes. Loose ball, let's see. The tie box shows it to the official. There's no call, though. I think he was down, apparently. The tie box tried to sell it, but the officials weren't buying. So even though Kyle Forbes did not get the tackle, he slowed down Florentino, and they got a whole bunch of help. The Bulldogs did pick up some yardage, though. It's certainly a very makeable 3rd and about 3. 2:45 on a moving clock. Low snap, Pitch Young got to try to fall forward with it, and all kinds of Trojans. 50, Chris Madden. Bobby Began, double B, Bobby Began was in there, 53. And a timeout. Because it's going to be 4th and about 1.5 to 2. 2:28 on the clock. Thornton Academy 14, Portland 12. We're in the 4th period. Portland ball. Scoreboard says 4th and 1. And again, so far Portland has not shown any full house formation or a tight formation. Even on short yardage, they're going from their spread formation. A number of times as the quarterback Pitts Young will take the snap and try to find the hole. Again, his first name Javon is spelled Jayvon, and then we have the hyphenated name Pitts Young. Again, an excellent athlete, as we've described here tonight, and also referred to his basketball skills. Pretty long timeout here. Portland huddled up right by their bench, getting the play. Again, Coach Mike Bailey in his 26th year, one of the deans of Maine coaches. Coach Kevin Kiesler, I believe, in his 12th year. Portland fans trying to get excited here as the Bulldogs go for it from their own 19, 4th and 1. Pitch Young. He's going to pick it up and some more, and boy, he almost was about ready to get underway. Dragged down by Libby and Sear over there. But for a split second, I thought he was going to get by them. And it would have been very interesting, to say the least. .2:15 to go. Moving clock. First down Portland from their own 27. Pitch Young fires to the right sideline. And let's see, I think it's incomplete. Somebody from Thornton had a hand up. Almost deflected it. Josh Sear on the defense on that far sideline. Second and 10, Portland. It's a clock stop at 2:03 to go as the stop's on the incompletion. Nick Volger standing alongside Pitch Young. Florentino in motion. Pitch Young, couple steps to his right. Throws downfield and misconnection. Intended for Kilbride again. The ball was thrown more to the center of the field. It needed to be thrown more to the sideline. John Remus on the defense. A little bit scary for a second from our angle, because we couldn't tell Ray the trajectory of the ball as it got closer to the receiver. And as I said, it went more to the middle of the field than they wanted to as far as Portland goes. 3rd and 10. Well, you know they're going to go on 4th down as well if they have to. Coming to this near sideline, wide receiver Jason Webster. A couple of receivers to the top of the screen. Pitch Young. Back to pass, pretty good protection. Throws out here, and a little miscommunication that time as Webster cut towards the middle of the field, and the ball came out more to the sideline. Really to the numbers, if you want to say it. So 4th and 10, Portland. Portland with 2 timeouts left, Thornton with 2. They will go on 4th down. And Coach Mike Bailey says, you know what? Let's take another timeout. 1:53 to go on the clock. Thornton 14, Portland 12. Again, October 15th, homecoming at Thornton Academy. I'm sure everybody will be back looking at the renovations of Dr. Paul S. Hill Jr. Stadium. All kinds of festivities going on. The opponent will be Scarborough with a 1:30 kickoff. And October 22nd, 1:30 kickoff against the Biddeford Tigers, Battle of the Bridge. They call Portland, South Portland, Battle of the Bridge, but it's like a 1A, you know. 1 has to be Thornton Academy against Biddeford. As I said earlier, the Sunday Telegram did a poll a number of years ago on the #1 rivalry, and I can't remember if just the writers voted or not, but Thornton Biddeford was voted #1, even ahead of Portland, South Portland, and Bangor Brewer and Little Lewiston were certainly on the list. At some point we may bring that out. Right now we have some serious business at hand, and that's a 4th and 10 Portland, trying to retain this possession and put on a final drive. Both coaches had plenty of time to talk it over. Portland's going to come out with Webster at the top of the screen, McBride nearest to us. They also have a couple of players in the slot on the far side. Pitch Young takes another low snap. Nice catch. Throws. And just over the outstretched fingertips to Kilbride, being defended by Andrew Libby. And again, the ball hung up just a little bit more than Portland wanted it to. Fairly accurate, but hung up a little too long. Libby had pretty good position, but in the end, I think he's going to out-jump Seamus McBride. McBride at 5'9", Libby about 6 feet. So Portland down to 1 timeout. So it's going to be a pretty conservative formation here. You see the full house backfield for Thornton. Libby on the carry. Portland can call timeout once, and pretty much Thornton can run out the clock here. And if it holds like this, they'll say, hey, we escaped, and we'll take that short ride back to Saco and sort of enjoy a 4-day weekend, so to speak. I don't know what the coaching practice plans are. The JVs have a game on Columbus Day, 10 o'clock. Down to 1:14, 1:13 as we count down. Handoff into the line.
Handoff to John Remus.
John Remus on the carry. And Portland lose their final. I thought they already took the timeout.
TA just called timeout.
Final timeout for Portland with 1:03 to go in the clock. Again, the Bulldogs will play Cheverus at home on the 14th and then South Portland on the 21st. Again, sort of a wacky schedule as they played the first 3 out of 4 games on the road. The previous home game, they defeated Gorham 12-8. And then they finish with 3 home games, including tonight's game, TA, Cheverus, and South Portland, as we said. So no timeouts left. It'll probably take 2 more plays and Thornton can run out the clock. So instructions for the offense is whoever touches the ball has 2 hands on it, 2 arms around it. For Portland, you're just trying to strip the ball maybe a little bit. Libby off left tackle, going to pick up 3 or 4 yards as we went under a minute on a moving clock. I believe just 1 more snap. And it's going to be 2 extra points by Brandon Briggs. It's going to be the difference in this game. Eric Christensen under center. Keith Parento snaps it. Christensen falls forward. And on 4th down, he might have picked up a first down, which will mean they can run out the clock. As soon as they reset the change, if there's a first down, they won't have to snap it again. If they don't get it, Portland will have 1 more play.
Timeout for measurement.
Why did they give it to Iceberg?
First down Thornton, so now they're just, I'm not sure they have to snap it because they should start the clock again as soon as the chains are reset. Referee says, wind it up, Mr. Clock Operator. The Trojans come to the line. I'm assuming they know they don't have to snap it. Christensen going to take a knee anyway, I guess, and that'll do it. All games aren't pretty in one sense on the scoreboard, and sometimes you just escape with the win. You take the win, go home, and regroup. And as I say, winning isn't everything, but it's more fun than losing. So Thornton Academy sort of escapes with this 14-12 win over a very tough Portland Bulldogs team. Very quickly, I'll do the scoring summary. Portland get on the scoreboard first in the first period, 5:21 on the clock. A 28-yard touchdown pass from Javon Pitts-Young to Seamus Kilbride. The extra point was no good after it was moved back to the 25 via penalty, and that was big. Thornton came right back in about 2 plays. 4:26 on the clock. Eric Christian teamed up with Dakota Tarbox on a 69-yard touchdown pass. Excellent touch by Christensen. Tarbox made the catch on this left sideline in front of us, and Portland could not catch him. The all-important extra point by Brandon Briggs was good. It was 7-6 Portland at the end of the first period, and in fact, at the end of the first half. Third quarter, Thornton went on a drive. Another long pass of about 39 yards, I believe, from Christensen to Tarbox put the Trojans deep in Bulldogs territory. Eric Christensen snuck it in from 1 yard out, and the kick again by Briggs was good, making it 14-6 Thornton. 2:26 to go in the third period. Javon Pitts-Young from 1 yard out cut to 14-12. Portland then went for a 2-point conversion, a pass in the end zone. The receiver caught it, but he stepped on the end line, so it was waved off. There was also a penalty against Portland on the play, which was declined. So the point, the extra point 2-point conversion for the tie was no good. It was 14-12 at the end of third period, and that's the way the game ended. So on October 7th from Fitzpatrick Stadium, it's a 14-12 Thornton Academy victory over Portland. Again, we encourage you to go to the home games against Scarborough on October 15th, against Biddeford on October 22nd. Up in the booth on the cameras, we've had Jeff Scott and Greg Murray. Also want to recognize Randy Pulsifer for his efforts camera-wise. Jeff Christenberry on the pregame show. Kathy Sortier also on a field camera for the coaches. I'm Jim Toomey, and I'm going to send you down to Jeff Christenberry, so some final comments. As I tell you, Thornton Academy is now 5-1 on the season. Portland drops to 2-4. It was Thornton Academy 14 and Portland 12. Again, Jim Toomey saying so long as we go down to Jeff Christenberry on Thornton Academy Television.
All right, so today, obviously, battle of attrition, really. You know, offense had a couple big plays, but what can you say about Dakota, obviously, coming up big? And it seems like you guys every week have somebody big coming up for you.
Yep. Dakota made 2 great plays. You know, it was huge. I mean, the second one especially. I mean, we were backed up. I think it was 3rd and 16, and Dakota got behind them and made a heck of a play. So, you know, Eric made 2 great throws, and certainly we needed that. You know, we had a hard time going today, and you know, certainly give Portland credit for, you know, they took away, you know, did a nice job taking away out of his own game, but you know, we found a way to win again.
Yeah, obviously, tough play in the first Portland touchdown, 4th and 18, kind of a blown coverage there. So, I mean, at what point? I mean, obviously, was that something you guys looked at? Maybe that they would go to the deep pass, maybe on 4th and long, 3rd and long.
I mean, it's something that can't happen. I mean, that's a coverage we put in June, and you know, we just fell asleep. You know, and that seems to be at times. You know, it's kind of our. You know, at times we seem to give up big plays when you know, situations we shouldn't be giving up. And then the other thing is we just take way too many penalties. I mean, right now we probably had close to 100 yards of penalties, and it's hard to overcome that. You know, you start minus 100 on your total yardage. It's tough to overcome that. So.
Yep. The rushing game a little inconsistent tonight, but in the fourth quarter you're able to run out the clock. And what it's like to be able to see the grind out a victory like this. The atmosphere is not, you know, it's kind of dead. You know, short week of practice.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, it was tough, but you know, it's the same for both teams. I mean, both teams had the same amount of time. Certainly, we're not going to make excuses. I mean, you know, we only get 8 opportunities to play. I mean, we got to come ready to play, and it just seemed early on we were kind of flat, and you know, we never got out of that funk.
Yep. And lastly, obviously, get the 5th win. You're in the playoffs. So what does it feel like now to be able to look at these 2 weeks and really try to solidify a 2nd or 3rd seed?
Well, that's you know, we gotta get, you know, we gotta worry about us and get back. We got nice week next week with 3 days of practice. Certainly we got a tough one. You know, Scarborough coming in. They're a good football team, and you know, we got to get ourselves, you know, back and playing with a little bit more emotion again. So.
All right, congrats on the win.
Yeah, thanks.
Well, Thornton Academy pulls this one out 14-12. Not exactly the most exciting game or the one that you're writing your scrapbook about, but I mean, the important thing is Thornton Academy gets the win and they're in the playoffs. Right. What did you see in that second half, really? I mean, TA just trying to hold on most of the half.
Yeah, I mean, their defense really came through big. They got stops when they needed stops. They had big plays when they needed them, but ultimately that offensive drive, TA didn't have a lot of big plays in this game, but they got one when they needed it, and that was the final score in this game.
All right, Dakota Tarbox, probably the play of the game for TA. You know, a couple big plays. This offense really couldn't get anything going. I mean, Nick Kennedy had a couple moments here and there. Eric struggled throwing the football a little bit, so really it was Dakota Tarbox. We didn't see much of Andrew Libby. Again, we talk about this Wildcat, and I think I'm going to keep harping on it because they ran the Wildcat probably 4 or 5 times in the second half and probably gained negative yards on it. Trying to get him the football. Maybe you see some reverses mixed up in the next couple of weeks. But when you look at this team defensively, they give up the big play. They get the turnover back. They get turnovers back and forth. They give up the touchdown, however, and they were really close to blowing this lead. So we saw them give up a big play on the pass. But what do you think now? They're giving up big plays on the run as well.
Well, I think it's a little bit concerning because it just shows you that there are still holes in this team. And I mean, not to say that this Portland team isn't good, because they do have they've had some solid teams they faced. They're 2-3 or now 2-4. But I mean, to see TA struggle that bad against them, both offensively and defensively, it's a bit concerning, especially knowing that they're going into the playoffs. They're going to be facing some tougher teams, and they can't make the mistakes that they made tonight in those games. It would be disastrous.
Right, so it's 2 ways to look at this win. A lot of it could be like, well, geez, you barely beat a team that's 2-4, probably not going to the playoffs. The other one, you know, dead atmosphere, Thursday night. Right. Only really had one full day of practice this week. Now you have a full 12 days to prepare for Scarborough. So that's the other way you look at it. Right. Again, sitting at 5-1, I tell you, when I looked at the schedule, I say if you would have said that they're going to be 5-1, I'd say it's a pretty impressive
surprise, I think, by everybody. Just to see this team, I mean, they found a way to win a lot of these games. That's the big thing. I mean, they're not pretty wins, A lot of them are like tonight, but they're finding a way to get it done. They're 5-1 and they're in the playoffs.
Yep, looking down for the rest of the season. They got Scarborough at home, Biddeford at home. I'd be absolutely shocked if they didn't be Biddeford. So really, you're looking at maybe a 7-1 or 6-2 team. If I had a wager, I'd probably say they're going to probably finish in the 3rd position. You're looking behind Cheverus. Maybe Deering or South Portland will sneak ahead of them with the Crabtree standings. But now, what do you think? How important is it, do you think, to get that 2nd seed? Because obviously, even in the 3rd seed, you get the 1st home game, but that 2nd home game, not having to go on the road to a South Portland or Deering again.
Well, I can tell you that I've been at 2 of these road games for Thornton Academy, and both of them, the one was lost to South Portland, the other one was tonight's game. Very, not poor performances, but not the best performances you've ever seen by this team. I think they definitely play better at home, and having those 2 games in a row at home in the playoffs would be huge for this team, especially with a developing quarterback, that offense that's still kind of shaky, and the defense that is very consistent at home.
All right, well, that's going to do it here. Next game, of course, at home, finally go back to Hill Stadium.
3 games.
Against Scarborough at homecoming. It's going to be hopefully a big crowd on hand, so thanks for joining us. And this has been, I'm Jeff Christenberry and Tyler Cataract for Jim Toomey, Jeff Scott, and the whole crew. Thanks for watching. You're watching Thornton Academy Sports Live.